How many have ever been on the Rhine River cruise? How many are going on the Rhine River cruise? Okay.
Think about it.
All right, think hard, because it's fun. The Rhine, as you may or may not know, wait. Oh, this works differently than mine, okay. I threw this photo in because it shows the mid-Rhine where all the castles are. There's 50 castles in this one section of the Rhine. If you like castles and cathedrals, this is the trip for you. Oh, I can't do that. Why is that? I just threw a little map up here so that you could see. The Rhine River actually flows from the Alps in Switzerland north to the North Sea. And if you take a cruise, you can go in either direction. The cruise ships go both ways. You can either get on in Amsterdam or you can get on in Basel, Switzerland. My trip started in Amsterdam and went towards Basel, which I'll explain why I say towards in a minute. So we were going against the current. Now, I don't know if anyone here has a little motion sickness when it comes to riding on a boat or sailing on a ship. I got to call it ship, not boat. That sort of insults people when I say that. I get motion sick very easily. And most of the time I have to say, I didn't even know the boat was moving. It really helps that you can see both sides at once, and that there's no waves, obviously, on a river. So it's very smooth sailing. Oops. I'll probably catch on to how to do this before we're done. Okay. This is just a photo along the Rhine. The castles are everywhere. And at this point in time, the castles are used for a variety of things. Some of them are just in ruins, and that's what this one is actually. Some of them have been restored to their previous use, and others have been repurposed, and they might be a fancy restaurant or a hotel or something equally as nice. So I think the people along the Rhine, let me go back a minute though so I can. So the Rhine kind of goes between Germany and France. It's mostly in Germany. It starts out in the Netherlands. So when you're on this trip, you're actually going to 4 countries. You start out and then, either way, I'll just go the way that I went. You start out in the Netherlands, go through a lot of Germany, stop in France, and then end up in Switzerland. So if you look at this picture, you can tell that the Rhine was flooded when I was there. There are 3 conditions, right, of the Rhine, or of any river really. It can be flooded, and if it's flooded, it can impact your trip because there are bridges that the ship will not be able to go under, okay? And there are docks that the ship won't be able to stop at. If it's too low, then of course it's dangerous for the ship to move along. And sometimes it's just right. It just happened that it was high when I went last June. It was June 3rd through the, whatever 7 days is after that, 10th. When you're booking your trip, I just would caution you to be a little careful to book it more likely in the spring or summer, because in the fall is when it's more likely to be low. And what you don't want, I don't think, when you're on a trip on a cruise ship, is to take buses everywhere, which is what they will do. The cruise companies are very accommodating, and they'll move heaven and earth so that you get the full experience. But what I understand is that it's often low later in the year. This is one of the many vineyards along the Rhine, and I thought it was really interesting as a tiered vineyard. I wanted desperately to see them working at it, because I don't know how in the world they did that. But yeah, they're all over. I'm not sure what kind of grapes these are. That the area is known for Rieslings, so it could be a Riesling, but oh yeah, and feel free to interrupt me. I do not care. I interrupt myself, so you can interrupt me. And this is just the ship leaving the city. You can see a little bit of the, oh, it doesn't show that, of the walkway. The top of the ship is called a sun deck. And on that deck, there's a walking trail all the way around the perimeter. In the middle, there's seating and a bar. Every floor has a bar. So if you were worried about not having enough to drink, you don't have to worry anymore.
Can you tell us what your cruise line was?
Pardon me?
Can you tell us what your cruise line was?
This was Emerald.
What was the temperature when you were there in June?
It was probably in the 60s.
Okay, really?
Yeah, it was very comfortable.
Okay.
This is the Rijks Museum in Amsterdam. This is the home of many of the Dutch painters, Rembrandt, Van Gogh, Veneer. If you like that sort of thing, it was a wonderful experience, I have to say. I enjoyed it very much. Oops. Amsterdam is a city of canals. So we took a canal boat through the city. And you can see on the side there the houseboats. Mm-hmm. Lots of them in Amsterdam. Two things really I learned in Amsterdam is everybody has at least 3 bicycles because they bike everywhere. You can't pass a corner without seeing at least 20 bikes tied somehow to a light pole, or maybe not, but they're there, and lots of houseboats.
How long were you in Amsterdam?
Let's see, just a little over 2 days.
We can take a tour.
I took this picture because, and I don't know if you can see it, but on the top of every house, there's a hook. Do you see those? And the reason for it is the buildings are awfully close together. They're 3 and 4 stories high, and that's how people move there. They hook a pulley system to those hooks, and they pull their furniture and their appliances outside the building instead of inside the building. Yeah, walk-ups. They're all walk-ups, right. So, again, I was disappointed I didn't see a washer hanging in midair. I was hoping for it, but I did not see it. This is 7 Bridges, which I'm sure you can tell from my expert photography here. But the canal boats do amazing things. They get through those. They turn around. There were times where I was not looking because I was afraid of what I was going to see, but they're very skillful at what they do. This is the building where Anne Frank hid for 2 years. And if anyone is going to Amsterdam, I would suggest you make reservations long before you leave. We could not get in because it was totally booked. I have been there before, though, and it's well worth it. And if anyone's going to New York City, they have brought to New York City basically a replica of the apartment where Anne Frank stayed for 2 years before she was marched off to Auschwitz and killed.
Which building was it? Do you know?
It's the one where all the people are in front of, taking the pictures
Yeah.
over here.
Uh-huh.
Her father, if you remember the story, her father had a business on the ground floor, and they hid in the apartment upstairs.
That's a fairly famous tree, too, in front of that, right?
Is it? What is it?
In fact, down in southern Cuba, they have a sapling from that tree.
Oh, really? That's cool.
They made it available to
They have a sapling
community.
in where? Southern Cuba? From that tree.
Oh.
When you leave Amsterdam, you go through, basically the canal goes into a lock system. And so this is the front of the ship heading through, through the lock to get to the main part of the Rhine. And it's very interesting to watch the ship go up and down, because it did both. I'm not exactly sure why, but it did both. And sometimes the edge of the canal looks like our Erie Canal. There's, land on both sides. This is just to show you how close the ship is to the edge of the lock. It's about maybe a foot, but this is the wall of the lock. This is the edge of the ship, and it's right there. When you're in your room and look out your window, it looks like it's really right there. The guy in black is our captain, and they have special engineers, I'm not sure what their title is, but people that come on the ship to steer through the locks, because it is a very tight fit, to say the least. And I probably should be embarrassed to tell you this, but I'll tell you anyway. What he's using there, the electronics and everything, when I first got on the ship, it was completely covered. And I thought, oh, isn't that nice? We have a grill. Must be we're going to barbecue. Yeah, well, needless to say, we did not have barbecue on the ship. The first stop is in Cologne, which is a really interesting city. And as I said earlier, if you like cathedrals, you'll love the trip. This is St. Peter's in Cologne. It's a beautiful cathedral inside and out.
So how much time do they give you? Do they stop and you?
They stop, and a local guide comes to the ship, divides us into groups.
Okay.
And I was in the slow group, which I'll explain why in a little bit. And so the local guide takes you, through whatever, and then you have free time.
Okay.
And most every city along the Rhine has like touristy areas where there's shops and restaurants and cafes. So this is just, I don't remember if this was going up to the cathedral or back down, but anyway, you get the idea that you can see the spires even from the shore. And this is really a great photograph that shows my hidden talents. They're so hidden, I don't know them. Yeah. So, Cologne is the home of Kolsch beer, which is top fermented. Does anyone know what that means?
It's awful.
I liked it.
My blood likes them. I don't like them.
I don't know what top fermented means, but it's like a combination of lager and an ale. It's light in color, and when they serve it to you there, they'll bring to your table those tall, thin glasses in a tray like that. But you have to try it. You're in Cologne, right? This is the Roman Empire, of course, controlled much of Europe at various times through history. And this is a remnant of that. This is a part of the sewage system. And it's lasted almost 2,000 years. Well, not used. It's not in use, of course. The next city that we went to is Koblenz, which I really enjoyed that. The statue is Wilhelm I, which I remember nothing of in history, but apparently he was quite a ruler, and they have a statue. And so when you get off the ship, the first thing you see is this statue.
So what country is this in?
This is in Germany.
Okay.
Cologne's in Germany, and Koblenz is in Germany. This is the fortress. I have to actually look at a card now. Ehrenbreitstein Fortress. This was built by the Prussians, and it's accessible from the city by a cable car. So if you look here, you can see the cable car that went, and it goes across the Rhine, and I didn't even throw up or anything. It was, but you can drive up there, but we went by cable car because we're brave. This is, oh, let's see, what is that? That's the Basilica of St. Castor. It's the oldest church in Koblenz, and this is where supposedly Charlemagne divided the kingdoms. So divided Germany from France for his sons and grandsons. Anybody know what this is? It's the Berlin Wall. So Koblenz has this example of the Berlin Wall. And my experience was that the German people don't shy away from it. They are shy away from what happened during World War II. Most everyone that we met was very apologetic towards us. They wanted to be sure we knew that they wouldn't have been part of all the things that happened there. Particularly this. Do you know what these are? These are stumbling stones, they're called. Well, they're called something else in German, but it means stumbling stones. And what they did after the war was over, in Koblenz and in many other cities throughout Germany, they put the names of the people and their last known residents on these plaques, bronze plaques, and where they went. So this is Max Appel, and he was last seen here on March 23rd, 1945, and he went to Auschwitz.
Anyway.
And Julia Appel, probably his wife, and the dates that she went. And they're all over. It's very sad. We heard a lot about the German resistance and why they didn't resist as one might think they would because of the consequences, because some of those homes and stumbling stones reflected the Germans who lived there who were not Jewish, but they were helping people who were Jewish, or they were resisting what was happening in their country.
Why do they call them stumbling?
I don't know. Probably because it was a big mistake. I don't know. This is a thumbs up now. This is a sculpture outside of the Ludwig Museum. And that's our guide, actually, our local guide. No one really knows what the artist wanted to do with that, but he made 3 of them. One is there in Koblenz, one is in Seoul, Korea, and one's in Paris, France.
Wow.
And I just took a picture because I thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah.
So we're still in Koblenz, and the muddy river here is the Rhine, and this is the Moselle that goes into France. This is our ship, the Emerald Sun, and of course you can see the cables that go back that way to the fortress. So you can see, well, I don't know if you can really appreciate it in this picture, but how high the water is. It shouldn't have been that high. And we almost weren't able to stop there because it was just a little dangerous.
Because what?
So from Koblenz, we took a bus to Kokum. And Kokum is the cutest little town. It's on the Moselle, about an hour from Koblenz, and toured this castle that had all the things you'd love about a castle. It had armor, it had feasting tables, and it had all sorts of things in there. And it was pretty interesting to see.
Did you take a bus there because that's the normal way they do it, or because the water was so high?
That's the normal way they do it.
And what country is this in?
Germany. We're still in Germany. So Kokum's a little village, and it's got all kinds of cute little shops. It's known for a peach liqueur. They grow these red peaches in this area, and I didn't think Jackie'd appreciate it if I brought some peach liqueur here. I do have a little bit left. It's quite tasty, I must say. And for a pastry that I don't remember what they call it, but it's like an apple strudel, except it's handheld, But very cute little town. So the next stop is Heidelberg. And these are the towers on the old bridge. Oops. Well, why won't it move? There we go. Surprise, surprise, there's a castle there too. Now I didn't actually go to that castle because you access the castle grounds on a funicular. I believe that's how you say it. And there were so many people there that day that we had to wait in line to get on the funicular, then tour the castle. We couldn't get back to the boat in time. Ship. But it looked pretty neat from the outside. Our next stop was supposed to be Freiburg, which is on the edge of the Black Forest. And I was really quite looking forward to Black Forest cake. But anyway, we couldn't stop there because of the flooding. So we ended up spending twice as much time in Strasbourg, which is another cute little town. Strasbourg is in France. And, interesting, when you go from Netherlands to Germany to France and to Switzerland, we didn't get stopped at any border. I don't know if it was because we were on the ship or what the deal was, but we didn't. Anyway, near the cathedral, there's a lot of shopping. Strasbourg is known for its Christmas shops. And so anything and everything that you could think of related to Christmas, you could find in Strasbourg.
Do they speak German and French there?
Yes, yes. Yep, it's a very small bridge in between. This is just a Tudor house, but one of the things that you see are the storks. And the area around those aren't real, but the area around Strasbourg is a natural habitat for storks. And a lot of folklore related to storks. Being part of childbirth and bringing babies. And if you put certain things on your windowsill, that will help determine the sex of the child. So every shop has pictures of storks and stuffed storks and all sorts of things related to storks. And I don't know how many of you have read the Hans Christian Andersen tale. It is very dark. I don't know if I would read that to my child, but anyway, that was part of the stork folklore. So this is just a different view of the cathedral from the all the vendors nearby. But I wanted to talk about the ship for a minute. So in the room, at least I can only speak for my room, or my ship, but there's a TV, and every day when you turned on your TV, it had the schedule. And you can participate in all of it, none of it, some of it. It's whatever you want to do. There was usually some type of exercise thing first thing in the morning, a stretching, a yoga, a Pilates, a whatever. And then you had a choice. In this particular day, this was the first day when we were still in Amsterdam, but you could go on a bike tour, and the bicycles were right on the ship, so it's not like you had to bring your own. You take a bike and go with your guide to wherever. They were going to the area where there's all the tulips, but tulips weren't blooming then, but anyway, they went there. Or you could take the canal cruise. I took the canal cruise. Mostly because I don't like to ride on the road with cars. And they ride everywhere, in between cars, whatever. But anyway, you can do whatever you want.
Is that the distinction between the fast group and the slow group?
Oh no, I'll get to that. Actually, I'll get to that now. This is the stairway onto the ship. It's probably not glass, but it looks like glass. And on the very first day, I fell from the top step to the bottom and broke 4 ribs. The first day. And if you've never broken a rib, I'm just going to tell you, it's very painful. It's very painful. So I went with the slow group because I was trying to breathe. And breathing became a priority. So, well, you do what you got to do. I did as much as I could, trust me. I would have had a lot more pictures, however, if I wasn't thinking about, is it time for Advil or not? Those were the big questions of the day.
Did you ever have trouble getting on the particular activity you wanted to because so many people wanted to do?
Not from the ship. Nope, they figured it out so that they could accommodate everyone. I really can't say enough about the staff on the ship. The staff, it was very interesting because the staff was from all over Europe. Our cruise director was from Portugal. The activities director was from England. The exercise guy was from Austria. The hotel manager was from Russia. I mean, they were just from everywhere, but they had one thing in common. Well, 2 things in common. Number 1 is they all spoke English fluently. And the second thing is they couldn't do enough for you. I mean, our room was cleaned twice a day. With the blanket turned down and the little chocolates, of course. This is just a picture of the dining room from one end and the champagne that we were having for something, I don't know.
Did you get to check out the German hospital when you go?
No, I chose not to because this happened about, I think it was about 11 o'clock in the morning, and the ship was leaving at 2. And I just didn't think I'd get back in time, so I thought I was just going to suck it up.
Was there a doctor on the boat?
There was not a doctor on the ship. I knew I didn't break anything major, like a leg or anything. I thought I probably broke a rib because of the breathing thing, which I find is extremely necessary. But I did not go to the hospital. They offered to take me to an urgent care center or to a hospital, but I didn't want to miss the boat, so to speak. Literally, yes, yes.
Oh, wow.
But you know what? I think I didn't find out I broke 4 ribs till I came back and got x-rayed. I think, though, that moving around and doing everything actually probably helped me heal. That's what I tell myself anyway. This you probably can't necessarily see, but this is an example. I can't even tell you how wonderful the food is. It was absolutely terrific. In fact, we were thinking, because you're docked, you're free to come and go as you please when the ship is docked. We thought, oh, we're going to try local restaurants. We're going to do that. Never did it. Didn't want to, because we didn't want to miss a meal on the ship.
That's right.
It was just so good. So every dinner, you got a menu, and on the left side of the menu was whatever the chef would recommend for that evening. And the wine and the beer flowed whatever you want. And if you didn't want what the chef recommended, then you had a whole list of alternates. And obviously I couldn't afford this, but between the inactivity, which I'm going to blame heavily, and the food, I gained 3 pounds that week. The lunches were even more, just as amazing, because there was like unbelievable desserts. And I didn't want to be rude and say no.
So there was breakfast, lunch, and dinner all on the ship?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably snacks in between.
Oh yeah, and at night in the lounge, if you went to, every night there was entertainment. And if you went to the entertainment, around 9 or 10 o'clock, they'd bring out appetizers. I'm proud to say I didn't have any of those. Wouldn't have been able to walk. So this is what the room looked like. There on this ship, and I think on most of the river cruise ships, there's 3 levels. So the bottom level is partially underwater, but you have a window that kind of reminds me of a basement window. It's that long rectangular thing that's kind of towards the top. This is the middle level, and that's called a French balcony. Now, it's not a balcony in the sense that it goes out anywhere. It's a balcony in the sense that you have those chairs and the window does open. So it's actually quite nice.
So that was, and the river was flooded, but you were still above.
Oh, yeah. And then the top floor, the rooms are a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer. And of course, what goes with that is exactly right, money. So every level costs a little bit more. But I'm going to tell you all a secret. You heard it here first. I made my arrangements on Travel Tuesday, which is the Tuesday after Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, Travel Tuesday, and got an excellent price. Yeah. And this,
Go through.
Vacations to Go. This is just a photo of the back of the boat. And then this is the pool area. And what was cool about the pool area, again, I don't think you can tell from the photo, I spent a lot of time right there. No, this is a retractable floor. So, like for exercise class in the morning, the floor would be solid, and that's where they would show the movies too. So every evening there was there was always entertainment. It was usually music related, and I think twice during the week there was a movie. And there's a bar in that room. There's a bar on the deck. There's a bar in the lounge. So if anyone is bored on a cruise, it's not because of lacking things to do, because there are lots of things to do. There's a fitness room on this ship, and most of them I think have that. You can just sit and enjoy the sun on the top deck.
How many people were on?
144 people, and I think it was 45 staff, crew.
Wow.
And they were absolutely the most accommodating group of people I've ever met. Now, everybody here's a Viking. They had a lot of ships on the river, but there's a number of cruise companies. This was Emerald. There's Amma Waterways, Avalon, Scenic. There's quite a few. I just did research and found this ship that was at a terrific price. I'll tell you what it was. It was $2,800 for the week.
Was it with or without airfare?
That was without airfare.
Okay.
But that was a good price for the middle level.
Okay. Including airfare?
No, not including airfare. Not including airfare.
Is there Wi-Fi
included air-
connections or TVs in your room or?
Both.
Really?
Yeah. There's Wi-Fi and TV. You know, I don't know if we ever could watch. To be honest with you, I never tried.
Right.
You know what? We watched the news one day. They had CNN was CNN's everywhere, right? But other than that, I don't think I ever even turned it on. We were so busy. We did everything.
Have you done ocean cruises?
Pardon me?
Have you done ocean cruises?
No, because I get motion sick, and I think the waves would bother me, even though everybody tells me they won't, but I think they will, so they probably will. This was smooth as glass.
How many of these have you done? Is this just this one?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll do it again?
Yes. In fact, I'm looking at their cruise in Portugal for next year. This year I'm going to Italy, but not on a cruise. I'm just doing a land trip. But next year I think I might go to Portugal. It's kind of a combo, Portugal, Spain, cruising. But what's nice about them is on the land trip, you know, we're changing hotels every couple of days. This, your stuff's in your room, and it just kind of goes with you wherever you go. Yeah.
What time did they serve dinner?
Usually somewhere between 6 and 7. And you know, we did not have assigned seats, but we met this couple from Australia and another couple from England, and we kind of hung out with them, and so yeah, there were no assigned seats. It was even for the captain's dinner. There were no assigned seats.
Everyone eats together, there's one seating for meals?
There's one seating for dinner.
Okay.
On this ship, I don't know how other ones work, but for lunch, there was like a time span. Lunch was served like from 11 to 2 or something like that. And the same thing for breakfast. It was like 6 to 10 or something. So, but at every meal there was a chef who made things to order, as well as, you know, whatever was on the buffet. If it was, lunch was generally a buffet, but there was always something made to order. They were very, very interested in making sure you were happy.
Did you always feel safe when you were off the ship?
Yeah, I mean, I did, because it was, generally speaking, it was during the day.
Okay.
And the area where the ship docked was kind of a touristy area, so there was a lot of people around. In fact, you can't really tell from this picture because there's not one there, but we would often dock next to another ship, and so you would go up to your sun deck, walk across their sun deck to go down.